Hey Trailblazer, it's Kelly. Welcome back to Crooked Path Studios, where healing isn't linear and neither is art. And actually today we are going to be focusing on some linear things, drawing, and using lines and dots. This mindful drawing technique called slow drawing was developed by Amy Markle, and you can learn more about it in her book, Draw Yourself Calm, which I do recommend. I've been working through it for a while now, and I've really enjoyed it quite a bit. We're going to do just a couple of the motifs from the book, and I'm only going to do a couple because she does have a YouTube channel, and she does a free class every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and you can sign up for those. But it's also her work, and I want to make sure credit is given where credit is due, and that I'm not taking from other artists. But I did want to introduce you to this drawing technique. I have found that it has opened up my personal visual language with a new dimension, and it is a lovely, meditative, mindful activity. So let's take a look at this. I've been working through Amy Markle's book, Draw Yourself Calm, and her YouTube channel to create my own sampler pages. So I've been doing them on a huge, not a huge, but a 6x6 piece of watercolor paper that I then divide into smaller sections. She does recommend you work small on these, and I have found making these sampler pages not only fun but useful, because then I can come back and look at them and decide which one do I want to work on or add to a journal page or a card or a collage that I'm working on. So it's been very helpful to have the sampler pages. And these are just a couple of the pages that I have made. And you can see some of these. This is one of our quilt drawings from the last creative practice that we did. So I have been mixing things up and doing some of her work, making up my own, adding the quilting patterns. Today what I want to do is we're going to do 4 patterns from the book, and you can start creating your own sampler pages and expanding your visual language. For our check-in today, we're going to do square breathing, and we're going to actually draw that as we do it. So let me demonstrate and talk a little bit about what square breathing is first before we start drawing it. So square breathing means we're going to inhale for 4 counts, hold it for 4 counts, exhale for 4 counts, and then hold it for 4 counts before we start over again. So you are making a square with your breath. Now, I know many of us have lung issues that are associated with our chronic illness. So if your square breathing is for 2 counts, that is fine. That is where I started, and square breathing actually helped me build some lung capacity. I have sarcoidosis in my lungs and mast cells, so a lot of times I am short for breath. So we're going to do that while we also draw the feeling of our breath. So you're going to need a pen and a sketchbook, or just a piece of notebook paper or something like that that you have around. All right, ready to jump in? Okay, so take your pen and put it on your paper anywhere you want, and we're going to just have the pen follow our breath. So we're going to go in, and if your pen works, in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, in, 2, 3, 4, out, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. Keep having your pen follow your breath as you hold it and exhale. And as you inhale and hold and exhale and hold. And keep going. You can have it run off the paper. You can have it start on the other side. And just take a look at what your breath looks like in line. And look at the shapes that were made. If yours overlap, if they don't, look at the shapes that were made without it overlapping. If it was overlapping, look at the variety of shapes that were made. And think about how you might use this breathing and drawing technique during the day. So the 4 that I want to demonstrate today are cloth, dot, nook, and one that I have not done yet, edge. So let's get started. Let's start with dot, because a dot is the most basic form of line and movement that we can do. And so we're just starting with some dots clustered around, and you might start spreading them out a bit. Really just thinking about how we want these dots to move. What happens when we cluster them and then spread them out. So I'm clustering them here and then spreading them out. So you can see some tight clusters and then some looser clusters. And you just want to vary that spacing. Sometimes you have to hold your paper. Start to notice as you cluster these, you might start putting dots on dots, and it makes bigger dots, and it makes it darker, right? It gives it a different value. As you begin to make more dots, you can start to see shapes appear and different variations in depth and shape.
This pattern often reminds me of flocks of birds in the sky, especially in the fall when the starlings are migrating here. And those flocks usually create these undulating orbs that get denser and spread apart and move.
And so just some dots, and gives it shape and form. You just notice putting them closer together, spreading them out, what that does, but also how does it feel to do one repetitive movement as well. So the next one we want to work on is cloth, and I think I'm going to have it stop here and have another piece of cloth come down here, so we'll have two pieces. And that has just given me the edge of the cloth there. I'm going slow and just really feeling this pen over the paper. This is a new pen I haven't used before, so trying to see if it feels any different than some of the other ones. And we're just making straight-ish lines. Just think about a cloth, how tight it's woven and what those fibers look like. It's a lot easier, rather than using your hand to make lines, hold your pen and just bring your whole arm back. So instead of making it a hand movement, make it an arm movement. Okay, so now we're going to start at the bottom part of the cloth. Okay, so there's one part of our cloth, one direction of the weave. Now we're going to start the rest of it. Now as we go this direction, you want to think about there may be some strings here, but they may not go all the way through, right? Also, to me, it looks like a torn screen, like on a porch. We had that happen. Was it the year before? We had a foster dog who was here with us, and she had been getting along really great with one of our cats, and so I had them both out on the back porch, and Winnie, the foster dog, got all excited. She was so happy. And our cat misinterpreted her happy, bouncy joyfulness as aggression. And the cat just lunged at her, well, flew at her. And Winnie took the quickest path off of the porch, which was right through the screen, and tore a giant hole in the screen. And I grabbed the cat just as she was about to jump through the hole and head out into the yard. So, yeah, I had to have that replaced. Oops. Alright, well, that's what happens when you don't go slow. And your hand is used to doing that little flick at the edge of a paper. But we can make it work. Okay, let's see if I get that in there. There we go. Okay. There, now we have like torn fabric. So now we'll do edge. And I think I'm going to do something similar to this that will have two pieces. And for edge, you just want to make a scraggly kind of crazy line, and I'm gonna hook it right to that there. So that's one piece, and then the other piece, I'm gonna do that. Now you just draw a couple of lines to kind of give it some structure. They don't have to be straight, they can be curved. I'm kind of going off of the marks, the scraggles that I made, so draw lines.
Edge is probably one of the most dramatic and easiest patterns. You are echoing the line you just made and letting it follow a natural curve or converge in on itself. And by doing that, you're creating depth or space and texture.
And I'm sort of letting this, like these got wider at the bottom, and I'm gonna let it do that. Perfectly okay. What we want to do is start to have these two places meet. Alright, like here the lines are going over each other, that is fine. That is going to give it some depth, make it look like it's folding in on itself, which is kind of cool. And the other thing about working small is you can turn your paper any way you want it or need it to be, so that you can continue to make the lines. There. See, it just naturally makes like a little fold almost.
I find that when I work on this or similar slow drawings with a lot of line work, I also create space internally for reflection and meaning making. During this drawing, I recalled all the challenges I had after I got diagnosed, especially with my employer at the time, and the friends who stepped in to help me. One helped me write and file a complaint with the EEOC. Another helped me find a lawyer, and another one drove me to the hearing. I realized all those acts were forms of caregiving. I hadn't seen one of those friends in a while, so I invited her over for lunch the next week. Often, we think that getting a diagnosis will make everything easier, but in my experience, it just created new challenges requiring new forms of resilience. And it reminded me that I could do hard things.
Okay, this line has this little curve at the top, so we're going to continue that, and it has a little curve down at the bottom too.
And that's what I thought about while making this drawing.
This is turned into a very weird little curve. Interesting. Oh. Very cool. These are just very simple lines. We're not doing anything fancy here. We are just making lines. There we go. And that is edge. Sounds like my husband is back from the vet. Okay, let's do our fourth drawing. I've divided this bigger piece into a smaller piece, and I'll do another one in here, something made up, but let's do something with a circle. We've done a lot of lines. Let's turn our lines into circles. I'm just starting with a couple of circles. Now I'm going to start going around to make a hole in the middle of the circles. Now that sounds kind of weird, but that's basically it. Now I've got a little hole. I'm just going to leave that. We won't fill that in with circles. So this I think that looks fine. I like how the bigger and smaller circles are looking. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to do one here, and we can just make some up. Excuse me. Because it's lines and circles and dots, right? So let's do a circle. And we'll do some smaller circles in the middle of this. Okay. And then I think I want just some little arcs. We did in the last practice. Some little arcs. All around that. Sort of wavy line. circle here. Dot in there. And then this one. Do that. So another wavy line, more wavy line. And then similar to what we did with edge, we're just going to follow that wavy line. That. Flip that around so I can get to it better. One more here. So you can just combine these and make any kind of shape that you want, and can make it look organic, or if you want something more structured, you can certainly do squares. Let's do some reflection. Take a look.
Which of these drawings held your attention while you did it? Maybe you lost track of time while you were working on it, or maybe it brought up memories and ideas. So think about what those memories and ideas were, and how did drawing help you connect these things? How did these drawings help you maybe connect to a new sense of self? And finally, how might you be able to use slow drawing during the day, especially if you're having a stressful day?
For a checkout today, before we go, you can get out the hand drawing that we started in the last drawing practice, line practice, and finish that or add to it any of these kinds of designs that we've started today.
And just just spend about 5-10 minutes filling in your hand with any of the motifs that we've worked on, either in this practice or the last one, the quilt drawing practice. If you're part of my Substack community, I invite you to post your work to the chat in Substack. Remember, the chat is the space where we reflect and share. It's not a critique space, because that's not what we do here, right? And if you're not part of the Crooked Path community, I invite you to come join us and create in community with us. As I mentioned at the start of this practice, a lot of this is based on Amy Markle and her book, Draw Yourself Calm. And I have put those links in the Substack post and also in the YouTube notes. So until next time, stay on your crooked path.